What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. We have Stacy Minero, who's the Chief Marketing Officer of OUTFRONT Media, here to talk a little bit about the work that they help support from a media partner perspective and just her experience and what she did to get OUTFRONT out in front of the people here at Cannes. So, Stacy, thanks for coming on and saying hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Good to meet you in real life.
I know, right? Yeah, I love. I know we've been trying to make it work in LA or the studio, but
Yes.
Cannes a great opportunity to get this stuff done. So glad we made it
Love
happen. So maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, most people know OUTFRONT, but maybe a little bit about your role as CMO, and maybe we can start with, what did you guys are masters in real life advertising, marketing, and that's your business day to day, and that's really the way that people experience Cannes. There's a lot of activations that are going on, around the beach, some using outdoor. I've got my favorite. I'd be curious to see if you agree, but what'd you guys do to, get attention of all the agencies and marketers that are running around this week?
Sure. So just to first set up some context.
Yeah, let's go.
We are in the midst of this evolution where we're shifting from legacy out of home to IRL Media.
I love that.
Which means we're more digital, we're more experiential, and you can use our bold canvases to tell your story in very unique ways.
So cool.
So a couple things we did, we had to come to Cannes and buy a billboard.
Yep.
Because that is one of the best ways to build visibility and credibility and just get in front of the audience here. So
Totally.
we wanted to do something interesting versus just splash our logo up.
Yeah.
So the billboard says you can't AI IRL.
Ooh,
so that
I
was
love that.
a bit of a provocation just to get
rub.
people talking.
I love it.
And, we believe that human connection is a part of shared experiences, and that makes media more memorable. And we're rapidly evolving to be more tech forward, to be more digital. But AI will never replace that in-person experience.
Yep.
And we wanted to call attention to that in an interesting way.
I love that. I personally think that outdoor is the most impactful advertising, but it's also the most underused on media plans. I think 5% of all media plans have an outdoor plan on it. I wonder if you see that changing now that some of the innovations you were talking about as far as not only digital boards and, 3D canvases and Times Square and these kind of like high impact opportunities, but just because agencies are being more creative with the way that they either use a board to draw attention to something else in the environment that makes it kind of fun. Maybe you could talk about the Steph Curry work, because I think that's a cool execution. Or, I did a campaign back at my old agency where we took a board, we turned it into an interactive rock climbing wall for RAV4, and then we had influencers climb it and turn it into a social activation. So just be curious of some of the unique, interesting ways that you guys are thinking about outdoor. And then I know you've got clients that, put some brass on the wall this week because of their executions.
Awesome. So I'll go back to the beginning.
Sure,
which
let's
is
go.
The role that out of home or IRL Media plays in the overall mix. That's one of the things we're trying to reinforce this week is that it should be part of an omni-channel plan.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just sit in its own silo. We feel like it's a force multiplier for the whole plan and makes every other channel work harder. I joke that right now we're in the desserts and we want to move up into the apps and the entrees. So some people put out of home on the plan, but it's often at the end.
Yep.
We feel like we should be a key part of the meal.
I love that. That's very cool.
So a couple things that we're doing, investments we're making. I talked about digital expansion and evolution. So we'll essentially convert many of our assets into digital inventory.
Yeah. Is that a lot from an infrastructure perspective? Like, what does it cost the average board to be transformed to a digital screen?
I don't know the pricing
Okay,
on that.
yeah.
I'll circle back with
But
you.
it's definitely like, it's an investment for either you guys as the operator or the leasee. I don't know exactly how the economics work. If the people own the building or the land help work with you on the financing, I'm sure there's a whole structure to it.
Yeah, usually it's in partnership with the developer. We own a lot of we manage a lot of the contracts with the transit authorities. So
nice.
If you wanted to do advertising in the New York City subway, Grand Central, underneath in Times Square, which is kind of the intersection of the city, or at Union Square Station, you would have to work with us
Yep.
to bring that campaign to life.
Yeah, yeah.
But we also have the opportunity to do more experiential. And we can do pop-ups underground. So with British Airways, they brought their cabin crew on site and they gave away these treat boxes to people that had a scone in there
Oh, that's
and
fun.
a tea bag.
Yep. So Stacy, where are you making investments to transform, what you call traditional out of home into both digital boards but IRL media?
So, great question. The first part is about the inventory. So, we're working to digitize a lot of our assets. And as we build out new opportunities, we're making sure that those are interactive, that we can run real-time digital assets. For example, we work with the MTA, so you'll see a lot of live boards, on the subway platform. And that creates an opportunity for some sort of interaction. So brands can leverage QR codes as a gateway to social content, right, to unlock something. We're also working with partners like Flam, which unlock an augmented reality type experience. So you could scan a
Second
code on a
screen
billboard.
viewing, stuff
Exactly.
like that. Yep.
We are also building out some opportunities with stadiums. So we're calling that stadium surround.
That's cool.
So if you think about 1% of fans can be inside the stadium, but there's that journey to the experience.
Yep.
And then you've got people that are congregating around those stadiums.
Tailgating.
Exactly.
Yep.
Or there's the journey
In
to
transit.
the game, right?
Yep.
So we're able to stitch together inventory and assets and experiences, serve those up to brands as they think about engaging their fans.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, talk about the importance of mixed channel inspiration. So I talked about the idea of the work that we did with RAV4, converting a billboard into a texture that can then be activated with real people or social, or you see so many activations of an influencer goes to Times Square and they're like, hey, look
Yes.
at me on this thing for the
Yeah.
first time, and it's not as expensive as it used to be because literally it can be flashed up for a moment, right? Can you talk about how creator economy and social become boards become a jumping off point for social sharing,
Yes.
whether it's a prompt through a board or whether it's leveraging
Yeah.
creators?
We actually came to Cannes with 3 or 4 trends that we were spotting and sharing. So the
Nice.
first is destination media,
Uh-huh.
where there's something so interesting and compelling, people would travel to go see it.
Wow, that's cool.
So Spotify always does a big Wrapped campaign.
Yep.
They actually wrapped the subway station in Chapel Roan's hair. So it was decal based, but there were Easter eggs that were buried inside of her locks.
That's
so
cool.
it created this moment of discovery for her fan base. The second trend that we spotted is breaking the board, and that is breaking the conventions of the billboard using lighting and texture, having 3D elements and
Yeah.
props.
Kind of the Chick-fil-A ones are famous for that, right? Where the cows
Yes.
climbing it or part of, it's popped
Exactly.
off and it's trying to, cross something off about cows so
Yes.
people eat chicken instead.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a springboard for content sharing or creator capture, and then it spreads, and there becomes an element of virality to a lot of those campaigns. One example is the film Obsession, which is a creator-led film,
Yep.
and that was released by Focus Features. But they actually created an unhinged billboard, so every day there would be a new layer to that billboard
That's fun.
that brought the unhinged character to life. Hulu is also a partner that was launching Scrubs. It was the reincarnation of Scrubs with the original cast.
Yep.
And they had the cast of characters inside of a pill pack. So they called it a pill board instead of a
Oh,
billboard.
that's fun. That's cool.
And that got so much love on social.
I can
and
imagine.
that fan base was just energized by that
That's-
creative work.
That's very cool. All right, so my favorite board I saw at Cannes was the Braze board. It's right out in front. It's right on the Palais, and what they did is they made it into a contest where you can scan a QR code, put in information about Braze, and then but they want you to come up with the most ridiculous thing that Braze does, because like they're trying to poke fun at the idea that people don't know what Braze does. So tell us your most absurd version, and then the winner gets a first class flight back from Cannes, which I thought was cool. They're kind of like using it as a contest, being contextually relevant. And then they're going to take those responses and actually turn those into digital assets and push them out to their team.
I love that.
Anything you saw that was exciting from a board perspective? Can't cheat and say your own.
So I know I can't, but I'm blown away by the scale and the ambition of Adobe's work, because they're everywhere.
So good, yeah.
But they are showcasing their clients and the best-in-class creative experience their clients are building. And they're showing those collaborations, and they're putting a spotlight on the brand. So I think that's over by the Majestic. So that work is really stunning.
Yeah, very cool. So Stacy, I know you did some cool thought leadership, but also around like actually getting marketers under the hood and doing some brainstorming and a workshop.
Yes.
So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I would love to, because that was one of the signature moments of the week for us.
Let's go.
We knew that we wanted to do the panels and the parties and the presentations, but we felt like there was an opportunity to do something more.
Yeah, like a learning moment.
Exactly. And also collaboration and community is so core to what we do. Also, our media lives in the communities and the cities where people work and live and gather and celebrate when big things happen. So we launched the first ever IRL for Good hackathon workshop.
Nice.
And it was a brainstorming on the beach where we brought together leaders from media, marketing, business, sports, and culture to come up with a campaign idea that would live in real life to support a mental health campaign called
nice.
Love Your Mind.
So it's kind of a charitable brief, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're giving $1 million of our own media
Wow,
to support the
super
idea
fun.
that
I
we're
love
all going to
that.
rally around.
So cool.
It was inspiration and then collaboration to get to these ideas, but people were like engaged and they were building on others' concepts. And in this event, which is, if you think about it, is anchored in competition, to have all these industry leaders and creative thinkers come together in service of social good was just inspiring to see.
I love it. Do you feel like you landed on a concept that you guys are going to go with?
Yes.
Nice.
There's a couple ideas in there, and we're working to bring them together, but there were some brilliant ideas in there. And Tim Armstrong, who was CEO of AOL, got
remember.
up and presented one, and it
So
was like,
good.
it was so polished and packaged. It was just inspiring to see.
Amazing. Well, Stacy, long time coming. Love that you
Yeah.
were able to make it and spend a little bit of time with the audience and talk about the innovative stuff that you guys are doing. Hopefully this conversation will inspire more great outdoor work and people to get excited about using that medium earlier in the meal, as we said. Well, thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Finding the right audience to build a media plan requires hours of research. And optimizing campaigns is time-consuming and a bit of a guessing game. That's why we built technology to do it for you. Strike Social.